First car along today is the BMW 6 Series, the E24 derivative. This particular red example is from 1987, but the E24 series ran right from 1976 to 1989, which was an incredibly long production run. Most of them were fitted with straight six petrol engines. Next along is another BMW. It's a 3 Series. To be precise, is an E30 Touring from October 1994. It's a 1.8 litre. In actual fact, this was the last year of production, and the E30 actually overlapped with the E36, but the Touring remained in production some way longer. And now for something completely different, an Austin A35 from June 1959. This was the last year before the A40 Farina was introduced. The A35 replaced the A30 with a larger, more powerful, this relative here, 34 horsepower A-series engine. And you can see that the A35 can be differentiated from the older A30 by the larger rear window. And you can see there the proudly displayed BMC rosette in the corner of the window. Next along is a Chrysler Avenger Estate from June 1979. This particular car was assembled at Linwood. It was also sold in the US as the Plymouth Cricket. From 1979 to 1981, it was branded under the Thoroughbred Motor Company before production came to a close. This is a particularly rare sight on UK roads, and if you check how many left, a combination of Talbot and Chrysler vehicles probably only gets you up to around 40 units left. Here's the keep fit windows in the front and the typical plastic interior of the period, but actually in superb condition. Next car up is also a relatively unusual sight. It's an A55 Austin Cambridge from March 1961. This was one of the so-called Farina family of cars designed by Pininfarina and was fitted with a 1489cc engine and just 55 horsepower, giving it a top speed of just over 75 miles an hour and an incredible 0 to 60 time of 24.5 seconds. The vehicle ran from 1959 to 1961. Next along is the MGVA, this particular version from December 1938. This car had a particularly short production run from 1937 till 1939. I can only assume its production run was brought to a close simply by the interruption of the onset of World War II. It's quite unusual in that the spare wheel is mounted actually on the front wing. This particular vehicle is in absolutely superb condition. No show would be complete without a Volkswagen Beetle. This is in particularly nice condition, and I love the surfboard and sunflowers on the roof. It's a 1285cc vehicle from March 1972 with some light modifications. Looking on the inside, it's particularly nice to find that even Scooby-Doo in the passenger seat appears to be impressed by it as well. Here's a restored MG Midget from 1976 that sat under a tree for 8 years. Originally a rubber bumper car, but then it's been fitted with the chrome bumper look, but in actual fact without chrome bumpers and the bonnet mounted number plate. This is in really good condition and a credit to the owner who's restored this from its previously derelict condition. Originally introduced in 1970, this is the Range Rover. It's the two-door version. the original version. This particular derivative is from May 1976 and is fitted with a 2.5 litre VM diesel engine, which is somewhat strange in that the factory diesels didn't start production until 1986, so it may well have been modified at some time. Predecessor to the earlier Farina engine Austin is this Austin A55 Cambridge, which dates all the way back from April 1959. Production from 1957 to 1958 was the Mark I version, so this appears to be a Mark II version that came later. In actual fact, this car was also sold in the United States as the Austin Cambrian. Although wearing a Mark I front grille, this Rover P6 is in actual fact appears to be a Mark II because it dates from 1972. It was fitted with the 3.5 litre Buick derived engine. This particular vehicle has got the boot mounted spare wheel, which was a popular option at the time and freed up significant boot space. It's the 3500S, the S standing for Synchromesh, as it's a manual transmission. Although the shape has barely changed over the years, this particular Morgan dates back only to August 1993. It's fitted with a 1994cc petrol engine. I'm not sure whether this is a Rover engine, a Fiat engine, or even a Ford engine, as all of these manufacturers featured in Morgan cars over the years, and they currently use BMW engines, as many people know. This car is in superb condition in British racing green with a lovely light leather interior and the usual wood fittings. Next along is a well-loved Mini Clubman, and this particular version two-tone blue and black roof with Mini Light replicas. We also have a Rover P5B from 1963. This, I believe, to the Mark II version, fitted with the more powerful 129 horsepower 3 litre engine, and also the Mark II being differentiated by the quarter lights on the front windows. This car has the original purchase invoice, and you can even see the charges for fitting the GB sticker on the rear. I'm not sure whether this is a modern classic, but certainly Alpina BMWs are built in very, very small numbers, with around about 1,500 cars per year produced. This particular one is an E90 from 2010, fitted with the 2 litre diesel engine and tuned by Alpina, and sold as their Alpina D3 diesel model. Be a very rare car. It's a Lagonda, in fact to be precise, a Tickford bodied Lagonda, a 2.6 litre engine, and dating from 1953. It's really got some superb details and looks fantastic in this burgundy colour. Looking inside the vehicle, we can see the mix of wood and leather which was typical of Lagondas of this period. And in actual fact, one surprising fact to me is how well engineered the hood of the car is as a convertible. Particularly interesting is the external chrome hinges on the hood, which are a real design feature of the car. XK8, which ran from 1996 to 2006, delivered a XKR derivative. This particular vehicle dating from 2003. It's a 4.2 litre supercharged engine. The vehicle was designed by Fergus Pollock under the stewardship of Jeff Lawson, who was the Jaguar design director at the time. It really is a magnificent car, and certainly one that's been more appreciated in the modern era. As you can see in the owner's own words, this is a well used and abused Triumph Herald 1360 which dates from 1969. The vehicle is used as a daily vehicle and even tows the owner's caravan. Next along is one of the final examples of the Giovanni Michelotti designed Triumph Spitfire. This particular derivative is dated from July 1980, which in actual fact was the last year of production, and is absolutely stunning, this original factory yellow. The first generation Vauxhall Tigra ran from 1994 to 2001, being replaced by a folding hardtop derivative. This particular vehicle dates from September 1997, based on the Corsa B platform, although external body panels are unique to the Tigra. The dash and many other parts under the skin are related to the Corsa. In actual fact, it was sold both under the Vauxhall brand, the Opel brand in Europe, and in actual fact the Chevrolet brand in some markets as well, and it's becoming more appreciated as a classic these days. Somebody looking for economy and a vehicle you could drive on a motorbike licence would have been well advised in 1963 to look at this 250cc Bond minicar, which was built by Bond Motors of Preston. This particular vehicle is in super condition, and when you actually get to see the engine close up, you can see the amount of space that you have to work on the engine, both from the top and the bottom. Really unusual car these days. This particular owner uses it on a regular basis. Absolutely at the other end of the scale in terms of size is a 6.3 litre Cadillac from 1962. I believe this is the Series 62 and it's the Sedan DeVille derivative. It's an absolutely superb interior and obviously a left hooker being sold in the US mainly. The bench seat, front and rear, gives an enormous amount of space in the car, but to be fair, the car is absolutely huge on the outside as well. Australians might know these cars as Holdens, but to us Brits they were actually the Vauxhall Monaro, imported under a small volume agreement between sister GM companies Holden and Vauxhall, and ran for a number of years. These are highly prized, and these two particular examples are in super condition. Thanks for joining me on the first of 3 videos covering the Yorkshire Thoroughbred and Classic Car Show. Please join me for parts 2 and 3. Thanks for watching.